Our next speaker is the Director General of International Affairs from the Ministry of Infrastructure in the Ukraine, Ms. Iryna Chala.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine, let me welcome all the participants of the conference and express our thanks to the initiators for the excellent organization and for the provided support during the preparation for this event. And I want to also thank you to have an opportunity to look through the main problems which are existing nowadays in infrastructure and in pan-European corridors. First of all, as it was already said by the Mr. Brinkhorst, who is too old to be nice, we are too young not to be very concrete. And that's why I want to say that under the Ukraine initiative, the Organization for the Collaboration of Railways had made a decision that the fifth pan-European transport corridors would go till Kazakhstan. And that decision is already made 2 months ago. So in railway, we have already made that corridor longer. And in motorway, it is only till Kiev. And if we want to talk concrete about the transport corridors, we should look for the infrastructure which exists. So first of all, I want to show you the position of Ukraine and what kind of infrastructure do we have in this corridor. So if we will look through the Ukraine, the share of transport on the Ukrainian service market is about 70% of overall volume, and in nominal GDP it is 14% among with the tourism. Transport infrastructure of Ukraine has 22,000 kilometers of railways. Freight car fleet comprises about 140,000 of vehicles. There are 30 certified airports and 9 of them are strategic. There are also 18 state commercial seaports and 108,000 motor carriers operated in Ukraine. The length of roads is about 117,000 kilometers and 21,000 of them are principal roads. In the year 2011 and 2012, here you see the data only from 2011, we had a growth, not very high, but stability growth of all the data by the transportation of the goods. Here you can see the transportation carried by the railway transport, and the data is increased of 8.4%, and also in the motorways we have carried 178 million tons of freights. In the year 2012, we have almost the same data as with the year 2011. And now I want to show you that Ukraine is the country which is the part of a huge amount of transport corridors, and that's why the possibility of developing not only the fifth pan-European corridors would be very interesting for all the parts of that corridor, because the goods can go from Kiev not only till Moscow but till the Black Sea and other parts of the world. Ukraine has a strategical location between Commonwealth of Independent State and Western European market, determine its focus on maximum development of Ukrainian transit potential. The transport infrastructure located in the heart of the European continent and access to the Black Sea determine the role of Ukraine as a transit bridge between the European Union and Asia. as well as between Russia and Balkans and Central Asia countries. Through our territory are passing 4 pan-European corridors such as 3rd, 5th, 7th and 9th, Eurasian Corridor Traseka and the Black Sea Ring Road. All of them are formed on the basis of the existing transport infrastructure. Also, Ukraine is a part of Central Axis, which brings together countries of Central Europe and Ukraine with access to the Black Sea and the Caucasus. The Central Axis combines multimodal connection on the routes Dresden, Krakowice, Lviv, Kiev, Budapest, Lviv, Moscow, Kiev, Odessa, waterways Belarus, Kiev, Odessa by the Dnipro. It could be considered as a success that we are working very tightly with the European Union to build rules that were understandable for the European people and European market. For example, it could be considered as a success that for the moment the parties have agreed provisions of the main part of the article transport of the draft of the Ukraine-EU Association Agreement, as well as a substantive content of all annex which deals with transport. The measures which is made by the Ukrainian government are concentrate on the harmonizing the existing Ukrainian legislation with the current regulatory framework of the European Union. I would like to note that we couldn't ignore such an important issues at the approval and signing of an agreement on free trade area between Ukraine and the European Union, which will give the parties benefits such as equal shared partnering between Ukraine and the European Union, access to inland waterways, which was already shown the importance of them, and the Danube regions to the Main and Rhine, increase of goods traffic with the European Union member states, significant increase in the volume of transportation by the road with European Union member countries, and also by the vessels under the Ukrainian flag with the countries of the Danube region, Main and Rhine. Creating conditions to attract into Ukraine ports additional volume of goods, increasing the number of working positions, impulse for the development of national transport sector, and observance by the parties the provision of the Common Aviation Area Agreement. And I should say that in June was adopted the communication from the European Commission to the Council to the European Parliament, which has written the main points of the politic between European Union and neighboring countries. And that's why we are working very tightly to see in what way we could do the changing of our legislation system more quickly and to receive rules which will be absolutely adequate and almost the same with the European Union. Also, we, with the European Union, understanding the importance of the maritime and inland navigation, because, as it was said before, we should think about the future and we should think about the ecological aspects. The railway and the maritime transport is more ecologically than the cars. But if we will look through the road transport, now we are working for the development single European transport area and look through the main and strategical transport corridors which should be developed at the first stage. But by the railway transport we have the problem that our tracks are different with the European Union, and that's why we need the designing of a new types of rolling stock and of renovation of the existing equipment. But if we will look through the topical issues of the development of the Trans-European transport network, we should state that the main problems are that we don't have an equal access to the European transport market for neighboring countries. We have problems that, for example, our cars cannot go to the European countries to bring the goods over there because we have license, and European cars don't want to go to Ukraine because they have more interesting proposals through the European Union. Also, we have problems with the legal framework for the international combined transport. I mean that we worked, for example, like with Italy, about the bilateral agreements of the multimodal transportation, which will regulate all the problematical things of the transporting the goods. But unfortunately, that works with all the countries of the fifth pan-European corridors. It's just only started and it goes a lot. We didn't receive the last paper which we could sign, and thanks for them we would have a legal basis and the rules which will be existing in that part. And also we want to understand the definition of our format for further participation of Ukraine in the European Union's policy of the development of the Trans-European transport networks. I mean the problem when, for example, the European countries see the networks and they don't want to see the infrastructure in countries which are not the members of European Union. And that is a huge problem because everything should be built under the existing infrastructure. So, it was the problems, and now we should say that we have a lot of programs where we're working very tightly and close with the European Union. And so we have the cooperation programs in the framework of the European neighboring policy, in such as European Initiative, Eastern Partnership, Technical Assistance, Twinning and TAIEX, European strategies for the Danube region. And I should say that as Hungary, Ukraine haven't signed the declaration about the Danube, you were speaking about that declaration because we don't see the results, what we will receive when we'll sign the declaration about the Danube region, the European declaration. And also Transport Panel, it is the initiative of the Directorate General for Mobility and Transport. In addition, I should say that the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine has drawn up to the program for the development of the roads for the 2012-2016, which envisage construction and renovation for 2,200 kilometers of roads, and also the narration for 590 kilometers of roads, which made our infrastructure better. And also I forgot to say that thanks for Euro 2012 and thanks for the political willness, the infrastructure, I mean the road infrastructure of Ukraine is now better than it was 2 years ago, because our government has spent a lot of money to make the roads from the east part till the west part of Ukraine of the high level. And that is roads which will be the part of the fifth pan-European corridor and which are going from Chop till Moscow through the Kiev. I should say that a similar strategic transport network is also defined for the railways by our government. And it also includes 3rd, 5th, 9th pan-European corridor and corridor Traseka, and Europe-Asia corridor and strategic routes from Russia to the Ukraine ports and high-speed passenger destination. In 2012, in the framework of the program of the European Good Neighboring Policy, Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine, together with the French ministry responsible for the transport, have started also the project in the field of multimodal transportation and logistics, and it was initiated by the Ukrainian government. The primary objective of the project was a budget of about 1 million euro is to strengthen the institutional capacity of the Ministry of Infrastructure of Ukraine for the development of multimodal transportation through the application of the best European practice, and in a such way to support the further development in the field of transport and logistics. So we are working on that field, and we're trying to do our best. And it is also important to note that we have a huge amount of different enterprises which are working in the transport sector, and thanks to whom the transportation of the goods is easier. I mean such enterprises as Odessa Commercial Seaport, Ilychevsk Commercial Seaport, Ukrainian State Center for Transport Service, Lysky. And they do all the job which is needed that your goods were transported in the period of time which was agreed by the parties, and they're trying that all the procedures of the transporting of the goods were visible and understandable for other partners. So I want to say thank you for the main objective of that conference and for the information that we have received. And I hope that all the participants will receive a lot of new information, and then maybe we will change a little bit the political willness, and we will do the main reasons. Thank you.